So you've mentioned or you've raised this analogy of a theatrical production, and you've talked about the roles of directors or producers and scripts. And I think it's a very interesting way of thinking about this process, not only in terms of our own journeys of discovery through workshops and other things, but in fact thinking about our working lives as being part of something that is kind of scripted, the policies, the procedures, the manuals, the job titles, the roles, but at the same time necessitating the capacity to ad lib as well, because as well scripted as all of this is, the context is never quite the same. Could you just unpack a little bit about why this analogy you think is helpful and how it is used in the ways that you try to educate people in the ways of conducting conduct?
Um, so in our toolkit, we get people to pinpoint these key moments that key interaction points. And we get people to think about before, during, and after. So it's a reflection type structure. By doing that, you replay all the things. So it's like a play in your head. You replay that, but also it's not just reflection. You rewrite or upgrade the script from last time. So that's a simpler way to put it. Same as the conduct part. We have this conduct card that you need to reflect on your last, and then you move forward. So that's a simple way of putting it.
Okay.
And you, Daniel, you've got a theatrical background yourself, which I think brings its own sensibility to this question and this milieu. What are your thoughts?
You can talk about the Sparkle Studio, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Joe mentioned earlier about the learning how to ride a bike. And she said you can talk about the bike and you can just look at the bike, or you can get on the bike and give it a go and practice. So the key word is practice. So when I was growing up in Melbourne, Australia, in Form 1, they introduced drama as a subject. It hadn't been done before at the school, not to my knowledge. And in Form 1, Form 2, we did drama. And suddenly we were outside of a typical state school classroom setup. I don't know if you both remember, I don't know if they were here in Hong Kong or you experienced this, Warwick, in Australia. Those old wooden desks where everyone would have their own flip up and you could put all your pencils and stuff, and they were so uncomfortable, and everybody sat in the same chair and you didn't get a choice who you sat next to. But in drama, suddenly they had installed these cubicles. So they were outside of the main building, and they were awful, but they were different in that there was no tables or chairs in them. It was just an open space where you had to sit or you had to stand. Now, I don't know how old I was, maybe 12, 13, 14 years of age, around there, right? The space is huge when you're that young. And suddenly you've got a drama teacher that's taking you through all these exercises that are completely different to the way that you were taught when you've got a teacher at the front using a blackboard. And some of them are barking at you to be quiet, or you've got some kids that are causing and disrupting and running at, jumping out the window, literally, and telling the teacher to rack off, or worse language. And all this happened at a state school, right? And suddenly we're in a different environment, and you saw the conduct of the toughest kids change in this environment. It was quite incredible. And suddenly we're doing improv. And suddenly I was wearing overalls and pretending to be a plumber and describing how a toilet worked in front of the kids, and seeing how the kids would be laughing. And I was clowning about, but it was an opportunity to do so in a very structured manner. And then after that, the drama teacher recommended me to go to the National Theatre in Melbourne, and then I had a more formal training. There's a lot to unpack as to why I see the benefits of that context that's different to traditional teaching. But it's something very much that Joe and myself have taken on board and integrated into what we call Sparkle Studio. And Sparkle Studio is, and we've done some really significant work with kids and with some teachers as well, and I think it's better when you do it with younger kids, because they're easier to mold in a way. They haven't been totally polluted in a way by the traditional education system, which is not for everyone. And what you notice is, week by week by week by week, as you're taking them on a production schedule, and as you're doing different intentional exercises to help them develop their character, develop their leadership, and growing their perspective equal to culture in a completely different environment, and their confidence, with Sparkle in our back pocket: supportive, proactive, adaptable, respectful, kind, listening, engage. And you're doing this as Joe and myself are conducting this, and through the conducting, orchestrating them. And you can see that they're opening up, and they're having an opportunity to express themselves in order to practice, and in order to reflect in the making of something. And we've worked with students where they're making, for example, a podcast, or they're making a TV talk show, or they're making a play. It doesn't matter what we're making. We could be making a product inside an organizational setting. It's the same product or service. But the idea that the environment is shifted in which they have an opportunity to practice. We have an opportunity to implement our toolkit, which is all about understanding more explicitly, in reference to a dashboard or a map, where you can see the key interaction points of producing something together, the key moments that matter of producing something together. We're still producing that thing, we're still making something, but along the way, you're getting the extra benefit of not just producing something of a fantastic quality. We're never concerned that the students are going to make, they're always going to make something great. We know that. But what they're also getting, plus, they're getting all of this development around their conduct, and all of this development in how to practice and how to work together in an orchestrated manner as a team. They're not getting that, Warwick, in all the other classes that they're doing as explicitly as they're getting in the studio. Now, imagine if we were doing that weekly in an organizational setting. Imagine we were doing that weekly, or 2 times a week, in an organization that's involved in supply chain, and we're doing exactly the same thing. We're just mapping out something different. Well, I would think if there's a rigor to that, and you're also training people how to do that, I think people are going to naturally and intentionally start to see the conduct chain and the key interaction points and the moments that matter and the supply chain, I think they're going to start to see that very differently because they've been put into a very different way of practicing in the Sparkle studio. We've seen this work. It's not by magic. It works through good facilitation and intention. And all we're doing is we're giving people the opportunity to experience something that they just didn't get through school or they don't get in their organizations. And it's not farting about. It's not drama games for the sake of drama games. I mean, we can do that as well. It's all very, very well directed. So they come out of it, in our language, upgraded.